All right, EJay, Eric, hey, great to see you on this rainy Sunday. I hope you enjoyed the day, but here we are for the greatest hour of our lives today to cover
The best
the
hour of Sunday.
the best of the worst picks
The best of
from
the
last
worst.
week, and then the landmines that are next week's games. Great seeing you.
Good to be seen. Good to be seen. Yeah, it was an interesting weekend as I expected it would be. Once again, we're terrible. The Hive got 4 games correct. The and some really big misses like Wash U 6%. Yeah, they won.
Yeah,
Who else do we have? Muhlenberg 6%. Yeah, they won.
yeah.
We just did not do good.
But
Draw 0%. Eau Claire 100%. Draw.
100% draw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
draw.
that was the one I noticed, and they were down. Like
Yeah,
they were down, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be the one that blows up everybody." But
yeah. So I mean, if I think I'm really good at picking games that we're just not going to know. So I
yeah,
feel a little bit better about
yeah,
my I feel a little bit better about my 30 points or
yeah,
whatever it was.
yeah.
And I'm amazed that there's people that get like 50 points. So
I don't understand that one. When I pull up the rankings and
yeah,
or
what
the yeah,
where I'm trying to
there
see
we
if I
go,
can.
there we go,
There we go. Yeah, what do we got?
there we
Cross it
go.
for fun.
Yeah,
Look at
cross.
that model of consistency.
Like he's like I'm annoyed by him.
Model of consistency.
Yeah,
That's pretty good there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's all you'd need to do is like hot, 30s, 40s, maybe a banger of a week, one week, and you're golden. Of course, I can't achieve either of those. Um,
You know what? It looks like Enmore Cat. Looks like I got to make an update there. That's a 0 for the lowest week, not dropping 10.
mm, uh,
But yeah, it's again, it's still early. There's still
Still
another
games,
5 weeks to go.
yeah, yeah.
Some
Um,
some bangers this weekend that I'm sure I don't know
I don't know who.
I don't know what's going to happen, but
Yeah.
you know
Just no, I just want to notice like how close I am to you. Like I was five
we're
points
on the
back.
same screen.
We're on the same screen, whereas I don't think
Okay,
last week we were. I think I
yeah,
had to like scroll to see me.
yeah.
Um, but
What's that? 25 for you, 30 for me. Yeah.
30
Okay.
for you, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you wanted
Okay.
to, we could do largest. Yeah, Recon with the big banger 50. Hopkins walk
50.
on. Look at that. Blue
Yeah.
Jay, Freddy's, KG. Who's KG? KG with a respectable showing. Enmore
Yeah. It's a
Cat,
good week.
he comes stateside, and lo and behold, he thinks he's all that in the pool. Like I don't know where
And
that's
puts up a
coming
big
from.
week. I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I
um,
didn't even have any Nest. I had one Nestcat game.
yeah, yeah, and that's the Middlebury Con game, right? Which
Yeah.
ended in a tie. So, um, all right.
So
I'll post
that's where we
these to
stand.
I'll
Yeah.
post these to d3soccer.fans like I always do, and hopefully I won't make any mistakes this time around. But let
Yeah.
me bust out here. All right. So, any thoughts about last week's games?
Uh, CNU dropping 2.
Yeah,
I watched
they're
that game
out.
today. Some of that game today.
Yeah,
It, I thought they still looked good to me.
yeah,
It was 3-1, but that third goal came with 5 seconds left when they were
yeah,
just throwing everybody forward. And
yeah.
I mean, they still look decent. I wouldn't write them off. What about
Well,
you?
I just don't. I think I expected more. I I think I had them at like 23. I'm going to drop them out of the top
Yeah,
25. I still think they're capable. I just need to see them go up against really, really good competition and get something, either a result or yeah. And I
I
still,
don't know.
you're
I
right.
don't.
They did look good, but I just, again, I think it's a results thing.
I
So,
don't. Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like.
yeah.
So we'll see. And a team that I haven't had in the pool that runs hot and cold and plays well, doesn't play well, wins some games it shouldn't, loses
Hmm.
games it shouldn't.
Hmm.
It is Salisbury,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably got to play each other still, right? Because they're part of that
Yeah.
funky, that
Coast to
coast to
coast thing.
coast, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The coast to coast travel conference.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's one. And I thought they started out, they, I think they were like 3-0 or something like that to start, and they looked really good. But then I think they sort of go hot, cold, like you said, and but we should definitely get them in if there's a game that they're
yeah. I'll keep an eye on it. I don't have them
yeah
this week. I got some
yeah
other. I got
yeah.
some
You
other
got some all winning.
interesting,
Yeah. So
interesting
why
selections
don't
this
we
week.
jump right into
You want to
those
just
if
jump
you're
into that one? All
yeah,
right, all right.
because hey, this is now we can this I mean the first one, geez almighty.
So, and I gotta look back. How many times have I put these guys in here now? I think I've got them in here like 4 or 5 weeks now. It seems like they've been in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
First game I have is a Friday night. Wisconsin Eau Claire. they're,
yeah,
they're in it again because it's just another great matchup. I mean, they're
yeah,
hosting big WIAC matchup against
yeah.
what is it? Plateville,
Pla-
Platteville,
Platteville,
Platteville. Yeah, I thought it
the
was Platteville.
the pioneers of Platteville.
So Platteville are 5-0-2,
Yeah,
and Eau Claire are 7-1-2 after a loss. They've played two common opponents this year. They both defeated Wisconsin Superior, and they both tied Luther. So in theory, you're looking at these guys are like even on paper. Last year
yeah.
they played twice. Guess what happened last year? Win one, loss one. So
You know what? Platteville doesn't get the fanfare Eau Claire does.
no,
Eau Claire, I think gets all the all the attention, but Platteville quietly does its thing as well up there in
yep,
Wisconsin, and they should get a little bit more attention than they deserve. They've scored multiple goals in every game and have only conceded four, which is interesting because I always say one of the way Eau Claire plays is they're like, we don't care how many goals we're going to score on you.
right,
We're going to score one more than you.
yeah,
Um, and so I th- I think this is going to be this watch. Don't listen to me, but this has the
yeah,
potential to
yeah, yeah.
being a high
Tell us what's
yeah
gonna happen.
a high scoring match, right?
Okay,
Like literally, like yeah,
zero
0-0.
zero. Mental note: zero
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah, but I mean, I could totally see it being a 4-3 game. Like this is the type of game because
Yeah,
they're just going to go back and forth at it. I think Platteville is a little less direct than Eau Claire. Like I think they actually try to work it upfield a little bit more, but still, it's just going to be. I think these teams, both of them, are always look to be like, just let's score. I think that's the
yeah.
solution to every game: score more goals than the other team. So.
Yeah. I see that, and based on everything that's gone on this season, this has the potential to be a very entertaining, if
Yeah.
not close game.
Yeah. Good choice on that one, actually. I actually,
Hey,
this is one where I'm like, yeah, I can agree with Eric on this choice. So, and I'm a big fan of Wisconsin soccer.
yeah,
Having watched like, there's a lot of great soccer up there. So,
yeah.
so
Well, I mean, we can stay in the area on Saturday's games.
yeah,
We got a couple games up in that neighborhood as well. Chicago at Rochester. So opening weekend in the UAA.
yeah.
Chicago's lost three
Three
games in
in
a
a
row now.
row. I
They're
know
all one
one
nothing,
nothing. Yeah,
and so they're 5-4,
yeah.
and they've got a big game midweek against Calvin,
Which is not going to be easy.
which isn't going to be easy. And then they go out to Rochester,
Yeah.
and
Chi-
the Yellow Jackets are what 5-2-2.
yeah. I
and they just lost to Stevens.
Yeah, Chicago's a little bit of an enigma to me.
Yeah,
I think they can play. I just don't think they're finding. I just don't think they're tuned in. I don't know. I don't know. They used to they like this season they won, and this is an anomaly, right? They win the national championship, and they're literally scoring 2-3 goals a game,
right,
and now they just can't find the back of the net. So I think that's um, and and Rochester always has this again same thing. Kind of reminds me of Platteville, right? Like sort of quietly right, flies under the
right.
radar, does its thing, does well, and then they go into the into the UAA, and UAA is always a crapshoot as to who's going to end up being on top because there's
Yeah,
so many teams that are just such parity in that league. It's
yeah.
um, it, and it's at Rochester. I don't know. I don't know how either team's going to react to this one. Like
So
that's
games on sale for $29.95
yeah,
for a pay per view.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. University of Paywall, you know it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Uh, $29.95 for the game.
yeah.
Do
No.
you know? Did I tell you this? Because we don't do the women. We don't do women's games in this thing. Like the
Right.
I joke University of Paywall, ha 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 ha, because they made right
Mm.
before anybody started going behind the paywall with the conference.
Flow stuff.
Deal.
Yeah.
Well, the women didn't take too kindly. They blocked me on Exeter. I'm blocked. I'm like, it's a soccer. It's a, I'm blocked. I can't, like
This
me,
is the thing. You never
me.
know
Look
who's
at me.
listening.
Do I look like such a bad guy? Like it's me.
You never know who's listening. You put out a call for a poster from
And look at
Hope,
that.
and you get a email from the coach. There,
Look
there,
at the
there.
autographed, baby.
Is,
Autographed. I got
is that
one
the whole
for you.
team?
It's
That's the
the
whole team?
whole team autographed. How
That is
spectacular is that?
unbelievable.
I got to get a yeah. Thank you to the Hope men's team for this wonderful gift. It's I got to get a frame and hang it somewhere around here where it's visible. So yeah, pretty cool.
They just beat Chicago.
And they just beat Chicago. Yeah,
Yeah. Speaking of
yeah.
Chicago, yeah.
So
Oh. Yeah, but that's but going back to my point is like you never know who's listening and
yeah,
what they think about what you have to say.
yeah,
Rochester
yeah.
women block you. The Hope
Yeah.
coach hooks you up with
I
posters.
know. What
I don't
else?
know.
What
Did
should I
anybody
ask for this time around? I could
did
use
it?
$1,000.
Jackie would like some treats. Does anybody have treats
Yeah,
to send to
yeah,
Jackie?
yeah, yeah, yeah. She
There you
loves those duck treats.
go.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
The Stu Leonard's
Y-
duck treats.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
yeah.
go. Oh, funny. Um, so yeah,
All right.
I wonder if anybody at Augsburg listened to us. Got the word that they were a 0% chance of getting points, and yet
Getting
they tied.
points, and they tied. And they
Right.
actually didn't look bad. I watched part of that game. I thought they looked pretty good and really well, like I said, I think they changed um Coach Hulker changed the way they played, decided like we got to start playing a little differently if we're going to
Hmm.
succeed. And this seems to be the year where it really seems to be
W-
has them tuned in. So
We'll find out because I've got them on their next
yeah,
game. They're going to Gustavus Adolphus.
yeah, that
So
is
Augsburg is now 6-2-1.
yeah,
Um, they're doing well. Um, they're 2-0 in the conference.
yeah. I I I think they're gonna like. I think Augsburg will have their hands full with Gustavus because Gustavus is the real deal this year. Like they look really good to me. Um,
They
uh,
only conceded 2 goals for the
yeah,
first time
yeah.
this this uh, this
This
weekend.
weekend, yeah,
3-2, a 3-2 win,
yeah,
and that's the first time they've given up 2 goals.
2 goals,
I think they've
yeah,
only given up like 5 goals all
yeah.
season.
But I do think they're going to have a little bit of their hands full against Augsburg. So
Yeah,
I think this is going to be, I think this is going to be a tough match against two teams that do like to play. So I think it'll be a little bit of a ultimately a chess match. But I have to give it to again. Don't listen to me, but I'd have to give it to Gustavus on this one because I think they are real. I think I'm surprised. I watched them this weekend. I'm surprised how good they look and
Yeah,
how
they're doing very well in winning games
yeah.
convincingly.
Watch this. That's their kiss of death.
Yeah,
And
there you
so
go. Nice job.
there you
Nice
go.
job. Way to
Yeah.
go.
Teams are like, please,
Don't
Simbuko,
don't talk
don't
about me.
speak about us. Don't talk about us. Don't.
Well, you know who's gone on a run since we stopped saying the S word.
Yes.
So maybe there's something
Yeah.
to that.
Maybe
Yeah.
let's keep it quiet. Let's
Yep.
keep it
Yep.
quiet.
Yep.
Let's just not say anything. We're.
Game four. Saint
Speak.
Olaf. Speaking of
Yeah.
speaking of that,
Saints.
the other Saints. Speaking of
Speaking.
Saints, Saint Olaf at McAllister.
Yeah.
So this is another big conference game. Staying in the MIAC, staying in there.
Yeah.
You know, Saint Olaf is 6-3-1. Have they turned the page? Have they figured things out a little bit?
I
They're
I am.
undefeated in their last
They're
5 games.
undefeatable in their last five,
Yeah,
and I thought they a pretty really good win against Eau Claire. I thought that was really good. Like I thought they
right.
picked them apart at times.
Like we were
Um,
all we were all talking about okay, defending national champion,
yeah,
and then they get out of the gate slow. We're like, oh, they're
yeah,
down and they're missing
yeah,
pieces. Well, they've
yeah.
suddenly found their sea legs, as I say.
Well,
So I don't know.
was it Shea Bechtel? Their attacking midfielder looks like he's starting to play really like sort of got in tune again. So.
Okay,
He's a key piece to them, especially with um, Victor Gallman gone. He's sort of stepped into the void. But yeah, no, again, it's one of those where it's like, okay, you're out of sight, out of mind, and then I turn
right,
back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like look at what they're doing. Um,
right.
McAllister's still a little bit of an enigma for me. Um,
Okay,
I think I like them. I think they're good. I think they're this year's. Uh,
Carlton.
who was it last
It's
year?
Carlton, right?
Carlton. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
this year's Carlton in my book.
Well,
I,
I mean, they've shut out 4 of their last 5
it's five.
opponents,
Yeah, yeah.
and they only gave up
Total
one goal to Eau
seven.
Claire,
They
which
they
is
they shut out seven of their opponents in their
yeah, they're 8-2.
eight
Yeah,
and two. So that's
they're having
pretty
a
remarkable.
very good season.
Yeah.
That's why
So
this is a big game. These 2 games are huge
huge.
in that
Yeah.
conference.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely going to shake it out, right? Like, watch, they'll both
Yeah,
tie, and it'll just like be a complete jumble. But
right,
this is the sort. These are the sort of games that shake out the conference, right? Where it's like,
right,
okay, you know, who are the top, who are the not so top. So,
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, moving
all right,
east.
this is a tough one.
Plattsburgh in Cortland. Plattsburgh at Cortland, going to the SUNYAC. So Plattsburgh are undefeated. They're 6-0-3, and they're on top of the SUNYAC.
Yeah,
They just had a surprising tie with Marsville, even though they outshot them 19-3. And there were 7 yellow cards and 2 red cards in that game.
fun. It's like hey,
So
let's have a good time.
interesting there.
Yeah,
Cortland,
Cortland hasn't looked
uh,
normal the last few
they
games.
haven't looked normal,
Yeah,
but again, they're not losing.
no, no
They're finding ways to
ways
not. I
to.
mean, they're 6-1-3,
Yeah,
and but they tied their last 2 games against
yeah,
inferior opponents. They tied
yeah, yeah,
Scranton and they tied New
yeah,
Paltz.
yeah.
Um, and in fact, the
But
New Paltz game,
yeah,
they actually needed a late PK to
PK
get the
to
point there.
yeah,
But again, this goes back to my point, and we're going to talk about it next game as well. They're finding ways not to lose.
lose. Yep, resilience.
So
Right, that's a big,
I
big
don't
deal.
I
It's a
don't know
big
if I
deal.
write them off just yet because
Mm-mm.
no, they're not winning all these games anymore. But you know what? You're not beating them either.
Yeah, I think this is this like last week, this week, and maybe this first week of like the real conference play is like the critical time in the season where you see this happening, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the question is, every team sort of might have their struggle, especially in the rarefied air, right? That we like, Cortland and the top 50 teams, they do have this sort of like time where it's like their legs are getting heavy, all those different things. They're in the middle of it. Results maybe not go their way, but like you said, I think what's interesting to see is the resilience of teams, that the teams that don't go the down path and
Hmm.
sort of right the ship, um, are the ones that don't suddenly lose 3 games in a row. Chicago,
Right, right.
right? 3 games in a row. That hurts. Like, I think that just,
Yeah, and I
yeah,
think I think that's tough to come back from. Like
right,
even if they,
exactly.
even if they do well
Yeah,
in the UAA, it's
yeah,
still, you know what?
yeah, yeah.
So
Whereas Cortland, okay, 2 not so great ties, but it could be circumstances to that. And like, okay, let's just move on. We didn't hurt ourselves. We didn't shoot ourselves in the
right,
foot. Let's keep going. So,
yeah.
um, I did, this might be the game of the Suniac, right? The game that sort of determines who. And I think Plattsburgh. I'm trying to think. Was it last year, or the year before? I thought they were in a similar position,
I think it was
and
last year.
yeah, last year, and I think they ended up stumbling. But this is the sort of game that can make or break. So I think Cortland needs a result, right? So at home, which if you've ever been, is a wonderful, wonderful field. But so
All right.
all right,
Next game for
an
teams
easy
that
one.
they can't lose. Well, you think this is an easy one.
Oh my
It
gosh,
should be an easy
it
one.
should be an easy one.
F&M at McDaniel.
Yeah,
So F&M are still undefeated. They found a way to beat Swarthmore, so they're 4-0-5. Um, that Swarthmore game could have been a tie,
yeah.
but they figured out a way to win. Um, I'm curious if all the Dickinson bandwagon people are going to jump on the McDaniel bandwagon. McDaniel's 5-2-1, and they're in
Yeah.
first place in the Centennial with a 2-0
Yeah.
record.
And I think this might be their best start of the season going into conference in like ever, like, or maybe not ever,
I
but
don't
in a
know. Yeah,
long time,
right,
in a
right,
long time. Um,
right.
you know, I know you have. I know you asked the best question of the day about F&M. Like, how good are they? Because they're not losing. They're right. They're finding ways to
Right.
not lose. And I'm the same way. I I just wonder of their ability to score goals when it matters. And I think more importantly is just to play consistently.
Hmm.
You know, um, they beat Haverford, which is not a big deal because Haverford is not who Haverford once was. But then they turn around and they tie Kane, who Kane is not. Like
Right,
what? Wait, how's that
right.
happen? So and then McDaniel, they have a big. This is a big week for them because I think they're on a 4-game winning streak, and then they travel to Hopkins midweek. So this could be. We'll know
Yeah,
how serious
right.
McDaniel is
And,
about
and
that
they
tough
could and
spot.
they could be
Yeah,
nothing. That
yeah, yeah,
record
yeah.
could mean absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
so this is why this game intrigued me. One is McDaniel really at 5-2-1? Is that really, are they anything, or is that just fluff?
Yeah.
Um, and two, what's F&M going to do? Because I'm really curious about F&M because they haven't shown me anything yet, other than the
Since
fact that they haven't lost. But
since I said they can't score goals and they play consistently, they will play consistently and they will score a multitude of goals and
yeah,
still tie.
it's and still tie. Yeah.
Oh Lord. This next one is, I was like, my eyes popped. I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
the, the game nobody's going to know anything about.
Yeah.
One of them. So if Dickinson and McDaniel were like the Centennial surprise teams, like nobody really saw them coming. I'm wondering if Susquehanna is the surprise team in the landmark.
Oof. Yeah.
They are off to their best start since 2012. They're 6-1-2, and they just pounded Wilkes 5-0,
Yeah.
which doesn't necessarily mean anything because Wilkes is
Yeah.
not a great
Yeah.
team, but still, they put up 5 goals. So they are now 1-0 and at top of the landmark, ahead of Catholic and Scranton and Drew and whoever else.
Yeah.
So they're playing Lycoming, who are also 6-1-2. And as you might remember from our Hive picks, they
Yeah.
tied John Carroll.
Yeah. Who
So
I said John Carroll's going to
every
take this whole.
everybody
Yeah.
said that. I
Yeah.
think Lycoming was like a 6%, a six
Yeah.
percent or 10%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is this is an interesting game. I don't know that it has big picture implications other than it'll be great for landmark standings.
Yeah.
I don't suspect either of them will, if they happen to win the landmark,
Yeah.
will make significant runs. Um, but this is a big game for the landmark, and it's interesting to see that Susquehanna is actually finding some success.
Like Coney's going to have to this is trivial, but like keep Susquehanna off the scoreboard because they score again multiple goals per game so far. And they've only been held scoreless of all against York. Um, and so, and you're right. Again, Susquehanna, right? This has got to be one of the best starts they've had in.
Since 2012, I went back and
Yeah.
looked
So
because I know they have not been good recently. So I'm like, wow, this
no,
is
no,
interesting.
no.
And
Yeah,
2012 and 2012, 2013, right around that time, they were actually good. I mean, they were like
yeah,
16, 17, 18 game winners in
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
years.
Um, and they have legendary coach Jim Finley. He's a really I interviewed him. Really,
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah,
sharp guy.
yeah.
So, um, it's gonna be. I wish I could go to that, but that's far away. Um,
Lycoming up in
yeah,
Williamsport.
yeah. No, but I just think this is going to be a game of hey, can Lycoming defend well enough to keep them off the scoreboard, and then can Lycoming get a goal? I think this is a
Right.
1-0 goal written all over it. Game, excuse me. 1-0 game.
Interesting.
Seven
Interesting. Yeah.
zero, seven
Yeah.
six,
Yeah.
7-7 tie.
Exactly. Exactly. 7-7 tie.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Speaking of,
Speaking of York, Alvernia at York, Pennsylvania.
jeez, what?
Yeah.
What?
So the interesting one.
This one's another one where I'm like, where did you
Who?
come
What?
up?
I know.
Where did you come up with this
I'm
one?
stretching a little bit this week. I
Yeah,
am. I'm trying to
broaden your
broaden
horizons.
the horizon. So Alvernia is 5-3-2. They really only have one good win. They beat Cortland 3-2.
Yeah, yeah,
York are undefeated. They're 6-0-4,
yeah,
but they don't have any notable wins in those six.
yeah,
So the reason why I found this one interesting is this is traditionally a Messiah. I'm going to run
conference.
away with the
Yeah,
Commonwealth, the MAC Commonwealth.
yeah.
Messiah is not going to do that this year.
Mm-mm.
So this is big for Alvernia
Yeah,
and York
yeah,
as far as the potential goes to win the MAC Commonwealth this year.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's why this is an interesting game for me.
This is a big, yeah, yeah.
Kind of like the Susquehanna Lycoming, like it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
everybody's
got
down.
that type.
It's
Yep.
got the potential to say,
Yeah,
okay, one of these teams could
yeah,
could rise to the top of the landmark. Well,
yeah.
Alvernia and York, one of those teams could rise to the top of the MAC Commonwealth and unseat Messiah.
This is the type of game where the winner gets its boost in the conference before they play, because the obvious favorite has always been Messiah. Before they
Right.
play Messiah, hope Messiah stumbles along the way, which they're capable of doing now,
Yeah.
right? And so this just sort of gives them the leg up. And yeah, I totally think either one of these things. I do wonder about Alvernia's consistency. I think they're like win loss tie, win loss tie,
They
win
are, yeah,
loss.
yeah,
Yeah, like,
yeah. They
and,
haven't
and
strung together two of
they haven't
anything. Yeah,
they two of anything yet. So,
yeah,
um, and yeah, York is definitely surprised me. Surprised, but they do have a new coach, so
they
maybe
do. Yeah,
that's part of it. So
yeah.
lovely, lovely, and what incredible facilities there too. So,
Oh, that's
but
pretty
anyhow,
cool. Yeah,
yeah,
their setup's nice.
yeah. So, um, but this is definitely more of a chess match for the broader conference. I think type game. So, I'll definitely be watching this one. That'll be
Yeah,
that. Let's see. Like I said, if Alvernia shows up and it's that W game that they're, like, okay, they can show that they can play. I think York's
right.
gonna,
They've got a
it's gonna
very
be a
good. They have
tough
a
game.
very good striker, Alvernia.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forget his name, but he's very good. Big
yeah,
kid, strong.
yeah.
I think he
Good
had. I
target,
think he had.
good
I think he had
target.
two. Yeah, I think he had two goals against Cortland. Maybe.
Hmm.
Um, he's very, very good. Uh, so that's why that I find that game interesting. Same with this next one, which people are like, "Who? What? Who's
What?
playing?
Yeah,
Why do I care about this game?" So staying in the MAC, but not the Commonwealth, going over to the MAC Freedom because the MAC's got the two different
yeah,
conferences.
yeah.
MAC Freedom, you got FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson. I don't know. Are they Fairleigh Dickinson Florham Park? Are they Fairleigh Dickinson Madison? I don't know.
I
They're
go by they're FDU Madison. I think if you look at Massey, but they are FDU Florham Park because that's where they're at.
right.
Yeah,
So I
so,
don't really know.
yeah.
Anyway, they're
FDU.
8-1-1. FDU.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
eight, not FDU TNEC Division One
No,
FDU.
yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah, yeah,
Division Three
yeah.
FDU.
Yeah.
They're 8-1-1, and they opened the season with a rare victory over neighboring Drew
True.
for
Yeah.
only the second time in like 30 years.
Mm.
So that tells you something that okay, I mean, it could have been a fluke, who knows, but the fact that they were able to beat somebody who they never beat
Yeah.
tells me that okay, maybe they've got a decent team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're playing Stevens.
I don't think this would be a game you would choose if Stevens was the Stevens of last year and the year before. Like they just don't.
and and
Like
that's
because then I would have just been like Stevens is going to win this game because
right.
that's their and they just don't seem to have that.
That's why I like this
Consistency.
game
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Stevens is 3-2-3. They haven't found their rhythm. They've been
Yeah.
hot and cold, up and down. You
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen with them. They haven't really put the pieces together yet.
Yeah.
So, is this an opportunity for unknown
Yeah.
FDU
Yeah.
to stake their claim
Yeah.
to the MAC Freedom
For you.
this year?
I I will say for if this is their first top 100 team that they're going to
Yeah,
face. I think
right,
like so.
right.
This
They're
would
not.
be
Yeah, this is
yeah
not.
yeah
FDU is not a. Nobody's talking about FDU.
yeah yeah yeah.
And
No, I get
even if they were
yeah
12-0, people would be like, yeah, but
yeah
it's FDU.
if
Who
they
they
yeah
played.
yeah
You
yeah.
know, but
But like I said, this is the kind of game that they could tackle just because again Stevens just hasn't
right,
seemed to put the pieces together.
right.
So
And someone's got to stake their claim to the Freedom, the conference this
yeah
year, the MAC
yeah
Freedom. So who's it going to be?
yeah.
Who's on the other side? Lebanon Valley, and
Well,
they've been hot and cold as well.
yeah yeah.
So I think this conference is wide open too. The MAC,
You
the MAC Freedom, I think is wide open.
you
Who's in there?
are
Arcadia is in there.
Arcadia. Let me see
Lebanon
if I
Valley, right? LBC.
Freedom.
Stevens.
If I could pull it up. Middle Atlantic. Three conference, whatever standings. Mac Freedom, right?
Yeah.
Arcadia, FDU, DeSalle, Del Val, Lebanon Valley, Stevens, Kings, and Misericordia
Yeah.
are on
I
this
mean,
side.
not a heavy hitting conference,
No,
um, but
and
somebody's got to
then
win it. Somebody gets
yeah,
the automatic bid, and you would have thought it would have been Stevens or Lebanon Valley,
yeah,
running away with it. But
yeah.
Not
And
this
then the
year.
Commonwealth is Albright, York, Alvernia, Widener, Eastern. I forget about Widener. Eastern, Messiah, Hood, and Stevenson.
Messiah third from the bottom.
Oh my God.
Take a
Just
screenshot of that. You're not going to see it
yeah,
again.
yeah. Just like what is going on?
Right.
All right. Last one.
Last game, Sunday game. One Sunday game again. Trinity, Texas at Concordia, Texas. Not to be confused with Concordia, Illinois.
Yeah. They,
So it's a big matchup, conference matchup again. Trinity 6-0-2. Concordia's 4-1-3. Trinity's reeled off 6 straight wins. They're scoring a ton of goals. They've won 8-0, 6-0, 5-0, 4-0. I wonder if they've figured it out.
yeah.
They had 2 ties the first 2 games of the season, and then they've gone on this run of just destroying everybody.
Yeah.
So is Trinity back? Are they worthy of top 5, top 10?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I
I
don't know.
don't know. I
I'm
haven't seen him play this year yet.
yeah. I watched him this was a few weeks ago and I'm not sure. I'm not I'll have to watch this game because I didn't follow up with them after I don't know, it was like the first or second game. I just didn't feel like they really had things going. I will say Concordia, right? They started out, they tied Mary Hardin Baylor, tied Christopher Newport, and then beat Virginia Wesleyan. So these guys, they can clearly play. Like
Yeah,
they can clearly
their only
compete.
loss was 2-1 against
Yeah,
Hardin Simmons,
Hardin Simmons.
which is
Yeah,
which is a very good team as well.
yeah, yeah.
So they can play. They're doing well. They're going to give Trinity a matchup, no question
Match.
about
Yeah,
it. It's just a question of can they win that game?
they're at Concordia.
Yeah, it's a home game.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm looking. I mean, I look at that. Like they've only conceded 3 goals. Trinity's. I got to look at them again. Trinity's
Right.
only
That's what I'm saying.
conceded
Trinity's.
3 goals, and they have
Yep.
scored
Yep.
10, 18, 20, 28.
Well, as I said, look at their scores: 8-0, 6-0,
Yeah,
5-0,
they're
four
just
nothing. So even if they're playing crappy teams, they're
they're
pounding
still
them.
they're pounding them.
You know, they're
Yeah,
not like F&M who finds a way to
yeah.
not lose.
Not lose. No, no, no. These
They're
guys are
they're
winning.
winning.
They're
They're
winning.
flat out
Yeah,
winning.
yeah, yeah. Wow. And
So
they have midweek game. They play Friday, Sunday. That's
was
interesting.
this another Friday Sunday match? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Sunday is Concordia, and
Yeah,
then they
Sunday's
play
the goal.
McMurray.
Okay.
But yeah, they open conference play against Shriner 5-0, like just dropping 5. Like, wow. Wonder what their individual stats are. Let me see if I can
Yeah, are they spreading the
statistics.
wealth around? They
Yeah.
got they got 3 guys with 5 goals each.
They have two guys with Adam Knutson, 7 goals, 1 assist. Hunter Kane, 7 goals, 1 assist, and they are spreading it though. Look at
All
that.
right.
Interesting.
So yeah,
That's a
that's a
good
team.
call.
That's a
That's
team to keep
another
an eye
good
on.
call. Again, I got
I
to
would
look out back in
I
Texas
would go
again.
back to them. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would go back to them
yeah,
because
yeah,
they're very intriguing now with what they've been
yeah,
able to do after getting off to a slow start.
yeah,
And they have a ton
yeah,
of transfers. I mean, that's part of probably maybe part of the slow start, right?
yeah,
They had
yeah,
like 5 or 6 or 7 transfers.
yeah. That I mean, I just doing the rankings and I'm adding Texas Lutheran, and now I'm gonna revisit that. Maybe add because that's now that I'm looking at it again. Like I said, I forget what was the games that I think I watched the Hendricks a little bit of the first 2 games Hendricks and Methodist, and they tied them, and I was
Right.
just kind of like, yeah, well, that's and I wasn't
Right.
sure, and then
Well,
then they
kind of like St.
proceeded to
Olaf.
Yeah. Then
Kind
they
of, you know, the
proceed.
first couple games didn't go well, so you're like, all right, you know, maybe they
Yeah,
just don't
yeah.
have it this year.
Next,
And then
next.
and
Yeah,
then look what happens. Then they go on a
yeah.
run.
Oh
Same with
my
St.
gosh.
Olaf. You know, they struggled in the beginning, but
Yeah,
now they're what do they say, 6-1-3 or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, six
So
three and one rather. Yeah.
I go. I dismiss them after the two games,
All right.
and then they proceed to win the next four games by a combined 20-0.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I must have caught
We'll
them at the
show
wrong
you.
time. Yeah, yeah.
That's what they
They
said.
knew. Yeah.
Did you see
We'll
what
get
Simple
that
coach? He dismissed
guy.
us.
Yeah.
Let's go
Yeah.
show
I'm
him. Yeah.
I'm on the dartboard. Picture me's
Yeah.
on the dartboard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it.
So,
Who are those clowns and
who are those guys?
what do
What do
they
they
know?
know?
What
Let's
do they
show
know?
them. What do they know?
I'll show
Um,
you my 30 points.
yeah. All right, another
So that's it.
fantastic
Yeah.
set that is going to totally confound and confuse me and everyone else out of your magic hat. So,
Yeah.
great picks. I will get this up on hopefully with no errors on d3soccer.fans. I will post the leaderboard and the games, and then obviously this video will come out here today, tomorrow.
Awesome.
So,
Good.
all right.
And we'll get it up and yeah, picks close Thursday,
Friday, yeah,
Thursday night. Thursday
yeah.
night break. There's game Friday, so picks close Thursday night.
Come on, still plenty of time to jump in. Water's fine.
50, got to get to
Yeah.
50.
It's like self humiliation when you do these things. Like, what? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So get used to
If only we can get
it.
some of those early stragglers coming back
Yeah,
in. Like I
yeah,
want
come
Soccer
on.
Rob coming back.
Yeah, Soccer Rob, wherefore art thou?
I know.
Um, all right, EJ.
All right.
It's a
Good
pleasure.
talk. Good
Yeah,
luck.
talk soon.
All right.